Yeah. Hey y'all, welcome back to Poplar Creek Farm. So I am down in my basement today and I'm going to start some seeds. It is way too early to be starting seeds for outdoor sowing here in Zone 5B, upstate New York. Definitely not going to be transplanting these seeds outside. But I am having a little bit of planting and gardening withdrawal. So I'm going to go ahead and do a tray of some cut and come again lettuce. Just so that I can, yeah, you're gonna help me.
Because I did last year.
Yeah. Just so I can go ahead and have something fresh growing and it'll just kind of fill my void that I'm having. So I'm gonna go ahead and look through my lettuces and just find a couple cut and come again and see what we can grow. Which growing lettuce indoors is not like a cost-effective thing. I'm probably not gonna save any money, but it's just the idea of having something fresh coming out of that I'm growing myself.
We had some goalies last year.
We'll grow them next year, yep.
I wanted corn on the cob. I love it.
So, I have a seed packet in here somewhere. Yeah, this one. So, I'm going to try these. This was from Botanical Interest. When I ordered from them, you get like a thank you packet. Let me just see how much is in here, because I don't know how many seeds are in here. Just sow like a whole tray. Now granted, if I'm sowing a whole tray, I'm not sowing them like a tray is 10 by 20. I can probably sow like 2 rows.
This is nice.
Yeah, that one's a really good one too. I don't think we're gonna grow that one right now though. I can open this one. Oh yeah, there'll be plenty in here. So these are just their cut and come again lettuces. No, we're not gonna grow that one. But this is really cool. Just looking at this. You can put on here, it has like a little thing on the back that you can cut out to put on your little stick that you're putting in the garden, and it even has like date sown. You can write, and then it has everything. It has like what the seedling looks like, how many days till it emerges, how the growing, how far apart to put them and whatnot. So it says it can be grown under grow lights. So we'll go ahead and try it. All right. So what I'm going to use is a 10 by 20 tray. The trays are from Bootstrap Farmer. And then I have the lettuce tray inside so I can bottom water, especially with lettuce seeds because they're such teeny little seeds. Bottom watering is really important. It'll absorb through the soil, but then the seeds don't get displaced as well, or as frequently. The only thing I noticed, so these are from Johnny Selected Seeds, and these are from Bootstrap. And although they're both 10 by 20s, this doesn't actually fit in nicely. You can see there's like a pretty big gap in the bottom. You can kind of tell, it's hard to tell, but there's definitely a big gap in there. It sticks out about that much. And so there's about that gap at the bottom. So we're going to see, this is kind of going to be a test as to how they're going to work for the year. If they're not going to work, yeah, what I might have to do is just order from Bootstrap Farmer to have their mesh trays that go in their trays. Because obviously they're designed to go together. But we'll try it. If, like I said, if it doesn't work, I'll just order from them. So what I'm going to be using, thank you, bud. You want me a picture? Mm-hmm. Ooh, look, I got a rocket ship. Is he jumping out? Does he have a parachute? Very cool, bud. Thank you. Very cool. Alright, guys, so what I'm going to be using is, this is Peat Moss, which is not peat moss. Peat moss is extremely, it's not environmentally friendly at all, and it's really just not healthy to be using for the environment. It's great for you, it does work, but I don't highly recommend it because, again, it's really terrible for the environment to harvest it. So this is Peat Moss, which is just made out of recycled newspaper. Now, I tried it last year for seed starting. I used it for some of my herbs, which it worked fine for the herbs, but then it does not stay together for the soil blocks. The other thing is it dries out really easily. So I'm going, but I have a bag of it, so I'm somebody who hates to get rid of stuff. I could just go throw it in my garden, but it was not cheap, so I really want to use it. So I'm going to use it for this, but I'm going to mix in some seed starting mix from Burpees, which has coconut coir in it. Coconut coir is basically just a byproduct of the coconut industry. It is still not super renewable, but it is not as bad environmentally as peat moss is. So I typically go with the coconut coir. So, and this has obviously some minerals and nutrients and whatever. As does the potting mix from Peat Moss.
Can I help you?
So we're gonna throw this in. This is what the Peat Moss looks like. It's kind of like, I mean, it is ground newspaper. Just really, really finely broken down. So we're gonna throw a bunch of that in there. And yeah, it seems to be going right through to the bottom because these trays are, the holes are really big. So I'm probably gonna go through more soil. We'll see. And the other thing with Peat Moss that I've noticed now, they break up really easily, but it does have some really large chunks sometimes. And you obviously don't want those. I'm gonna have my grow lights going. I will have them on a timer. I won't have them on immediately, obviously. I'm gonna wait until these sprout. I will put them on a heat mat for now. So I'll start them on a heat mat till they all, or till most of them germinate. And then I will, once they germinate, I'll turn the heat lamp, or turn the heat mat off and turn the grow light on for 14 to 16 hours a day, at least starting out. If I feel like they're really doing well and I'm kind of wanting a little bit slower growth, then I will turn it down to like 12 hours a day. Alright, let's throw some of this in and we're going to mix it in really well.
Can I play?
Yeah, thanks.
It's poop.
It's not poop.
That looks like.
It looks like poop. Wait.
Where's the seed in there?
I haven't planted the seeds yet, goof.
The smell.
Alright, so here is it all mixed in. I didn't mix it super well because I do want most of the coconut coir on top. Because again, for seed germination, I think it's a little bit better than the Peat Moss is, but the Peat Moss will be fine for once they're established. So this is what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to go ahead and bottom water. I'm going to soak this so it's really nice and wet. I don't have to water on top at all because then again it can displace seeds. And then I'm going to plant 2 rows of this muskmelon mix. Alright, so this is all wet. I really am thinking it could just be partly because this is with the Peat Moss, and the Peat Moss just doesn't absorb water super well. But I had a really hard time getting that water to absorb. Probably a delivery person is here. My dog's going crazy. So I kind of had to water from the top a little bit, which is fine because there's no seeds in here yet. It was just to get this all soaked in. So this is all nice and moist. That's kind of the consistency. You want it to be like a sponge. You want to be able to hold together. That's the consistency you want when you're planting seeds, just so that the seeds don't go anywhere and they're moist enough to actually germinate. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create 2 rows, and I'm just going to kind of dig a little pit here. I am horrible at straight lines, even in a rectangular tea tray. This is why my garden ends up looking all funky, because I can't do straight lines. Alright, so I'm going to just do those 2. So I'm going to do 2 rows here. This is what I missed. My hand's getting dirty. And now with any kind of little teeny seeds like these, it's pretty much impossible to sow, you know, just 1 or 2 in each spot like you would want. Obviously they're very tiny seeds. So what I'm gonna do, and what I always do with lettuce seeds and then I thin afterwards, is I just kind of sprinkle as I go. And that just makes sure that I'm, yeah, hold on, yeah, just sprinkle them in. That just makes sure that I get germination. Watch out. Hunter, move. Hunter, go. Alright, you put them in this one. And I'd rather thin some than not have them. As much as this is definitely overseeded quite a bit, I'd rather overseed than underseed. Especially with things like lettuce, when you know, and you get, and this is a free seed packet. I had tons of seeds in there, so I have plenty to sow. And you can always eat the baby greens. It's, you know, it's not like it totally goes to waste. I'm probably way oversowing this, being a little tray, but again, I'd rather oversow than undersow. So now with these, because they are such tiny seeds, you're just gonna really lightly brush over, really lightly brush over those seeds with a little teeny bit of dirt, because we don't want them getting lost. And if they're buried too deep, they won't germinate. So time to put this on a heat mat, and I'll show you guys how I do that. Alright guys, so I've got my tray set up. I'm just having it go this way so that it's right under the grow light. Obviously, again, I'm not turning the grow light on yet. But once it's ready, once they start germinating, I obviously want to have it set up for the grow light. So this is the heat mat that I use. These are for 10 by 20 trays. It's by Vivo Sun. I used them all last year and absolutely love them. They worked really, really well. They get nice and toasty warm, but not hot. So I never get worried about, you know, them causing a fire or anything like that. They're really nice, and they're nice and waterproof. So if water splashes on them, not a big deal at all. You can wipe it right down. So this, stick right under the tray. And the issue with this tray not fitting in super well is going to be that I don't know how well it's going to warm up this soil because there's a gap at the bottom. So that's going to be one thing. This is really going to be a test run. I'm actually really happy that I'm doing this for that purpose as well. Not just because I want some lettuce, you know, fresh lettuce. I really want to make sure that this will actually work for seed germination this year because I do germinate a lot of seeds. So just go ahead and plug this in. This can stay on 24 hours. It'll warm up the soil over the next, I'd say, week. I would expect for germination about a week. It says 5 to 10 days, but I expect about a week. Typically with kind of controlled settings like this, it's normally a little bit on the quicker end. So I will keep you guys updated on how this does and if I'll ever do it again. So I do have enough room to do another tray because each of these grow lights is 4 feet long, or yeah, it's 4 feet long. So I might end up doing a second tray. I'm gonna see how the first one goes before I do the second tray. But this will be fun to have some stuff growing down here in the basement through the winter months because, again, I am missing my garden big time. Thank you guys for joining me today as I started my lettuce seeds inside, and you got to see a little bit of our outdoor fun because, you know, 5B, we got snow, it's winter. But please like and subscribe, guys, and remember, we're growing today for a better tomorrow. Join me on the next one.